right, well then we are going to move on to our toasts. Things that we will be getting done, or perhaps you will be getting done after you listen to this podcast. So, Omar, how about you start?
Yeah, this is an interesting one for me. I actually know the person that I'm recommending, so take it with a grain of salt. But Adam Sternberg, who is an editor at the New York Times Magazine, and who I've known for a long time because he used to also write for Television Without Pity, and we're kind of in one of the same circles of pop culture people. He wrote a book called Shovel Ready that I've been reading and am loving. I mean, it's gotten some great reviews and some great write-ups, and it's a futuristic, hard-boiled story about a hired killer who lives in New York City after a dirty bomb has gone off, and half the people have abandoned the city, and the other half are rich people who are plugged into this virtual reality thing where they just sort of tuned out completely and are on feed bags. And there's a mystery with the case that he has where he's looking for a girl that is going to be taken out. It's just really great, and it's written in a very, very hard-boiled, spare style that just is really fantastic. Adam did a great job with it, and super proud of him. So Shovel Ready, it came out, I guess, about a month ago, and is just a great, quick read. I'm just a super slow reader, so I haven't gotten done with it, but it moves really fast, and it's a really, really great book you should check out.
Oh, that sounds terrific, and especially apropos for my toast, which is, as I was sharing with you gentlemen before we started taping, I am now a woman in my 30s, and I've earned the right to enter a book club. And so I am toasting to the experience of being in a book club, because this is what I thought that grad school was going to be, where you sit around and discuss characters and stories, and if you like things and if you don't. Unfortunately, that actually wasn't what grad school was like at all. But my book club is really enjoyable. And
I want to know what grad school was like.
Well, all you need to know is I was enrolled in a PhD program and dropped out well before the PhD was in hand. That's okay.
Oh, drinking. Okay.
Yeah. Alcoholism. So we just finished reading The Goldfinch. I'm a slow reader, too, and that's a 770-page book, so it took me a good month at least to read it. And from what I understand, Michael, Donna Tartt, the author, has been to your home.
Oh, yes. She's a fascinating woman and a great conversationalist. And,
she seems like it. And she also seems like exactly the writer that she wants to be. Mm-hmm. Because this book does a fair amount of kind of postulating at the end, these big moral questions that writers just don't do these days, like, well, what's the difference between good and bad, really? And she just goes on this big exposition at the end. Writers these days just don't do that, but she loves those kind of almost 19th century
I was going to say the
tropes.
19th century novel of morals, yes.
Right.
George Eliot, whatever. And yeah, she is very well read, very sharp, and eccentric in her own way, and
a fantastic dresser. I mean, all of her cover photos, she just is, rocking her menswear.
More writers need to have a signature look.
Yeah, and she totally does. So what's been so great about being in this book club is we also our last book before this one was The Interstings by Meg Wolitzer, and a completely different type of writer, and you begin to notice traits. That's why Shovel Ready sounds so good, because you begin to notice traits in authors that maybe you wouldn't have were you not preparing for a discussion with your friends. Like Donna Tartt, this is the only book I've read of hers. I haven't read The Secret History. I find her prose to be somewhat dense. However, she has a magnificent ear. Her ear for dialect and foreigners is just wonderful. She has this character in The Goldfinch named Boris, who is one of the most fully realized, colorful, delightful characters I've come across in a long time, as opposed to Meg Wolitzer, who has these beautiful, perfectly ripened sentences, not too long, not too short, but her characters are a little bit two-dimensional. They feel a little bit more propped up than Donna Tartt, who Donna seems fully fascinated and into her characters, like she's obsessed with them. She's super interested in men also, so her male characters have these, nuanced, interesting voices. Book clubs. Go and join one. You can join mine. We have lots of room, and it looks like we'll be reading Shovel Ready. So how about you, Michael?
Well, I would recommend a book, but I just got back from the winter reading week where we do nothing but read. Well, we do a lot of other things but read, but reading is the main thing that the 30 Friends at the Beach do in the winter, and then in the summer up in Maine we do it. A bunch of people just bring along, and it's based on an Iris Murdoch novel, which I would highly recommend people rediscovering her. But instead of recommending a book, I'm going to recommend getting off the couch and going out, because what I find almost inevitably is when people are grouchy about Austin, whether it's old Austin about new Austin or vice versa, it's because they don't experience it. They don't go out into it. They don't go out and meet people. They're not open to the things around them. They withdraw into their cocoons, and I don't trust their judgment at that point because
they are not
really
informed.
don't know. I mean, people will repeat over and over again things that they think are true about Austin, and even the barest amount of actual experience will show you that's not true, And so yeah, get off the couch.